Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll. Terrific Tuesday already here. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. We're going to jump right in our new guests. We have Mr. Andrew Wheeler, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Acting Administrator. And Mr. Wheeler, how you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing superb. All right. I take it you travel in the coastal areas right now, talking about coastal restoration.
I am, but first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with the Gulf Coast community, especially the people of Florida, as they recover from Hurricane Michael. I've got people that were on the ground before the storm hit, and we're still there to help with the restoration. But yes, I'm here today to take a look at some of the coastal restoration projects as part of the Restore Council, and going to be traveling around the area this morning.
Let me ask you a question, just not to get you too off guard, but mentioning Michael and especially Florida. I know some other states were affected. What do y'all do before a storm gets there, and then what is y'all job after the storm goes through? Kind of take us through what y'all have to do, because I'm sure y'all are part of that, because it deals with coastal restoration, it deals with what happens to a coastline.
Sure. Excuse me. We have a number of duties. Before a storm hits, first and foremost, we want to make sure that all of our, for example, our Superfund restoration efforts at different sites are buttoned up, and there's not going to be any leakage of chemicals into any flood surges or water surges. And that was particularly important in North Carolina and South Carolina during the Hurricane Florence, because it hit a number of the Superfund sites. We also want to make sure that the drinking water supplies are stable and won't be impacted. And then if they are impacted afterwards, we step in and we help the communities on getting their drinking water systems back up and running, providing bottled water if needed, working through FEMA for all of this. But we have a number of different responsibilities, not the least of which is on the coastal restoration to make sure that we don't lose ground when a new storm hits.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, and it's such a big deal right now. So many people, so many people devastated by what took place. And
yes.
I'm sure that the president and everybody's going to be a big part of trying to get it back up and running. Mr. Andrew Wheeler, of course, I guess. All right, your coastal restoration. Talk a little bit about, when we say that down here, unless you live off the coast, some people probably don't understand. We start talking about grants and helping people restore the coast. Talk a little bit about how difficult it is and what's really going on.
Well, it is difficult, and it's something that's it's taken place over decades. The problems where we're in today, the fact that we've tried to control the flooding since the 1920s has resulted in a lot of loss of wetlands, because there isn't the natural flooding of the river anymore because of the different barriers we've put up all over the place. But because of that, we need to make sure that the wetlands are restored, because the wetlands are the key to the wildlife in the area, to the fisheries, to the oysters, as well as the migratory birds that all nest here. So we need to make sure that we are restoring the wetlands while also protecting against flooding into the future. So it's a dual track problem that we have that we're trying to solve.
Well, I take it it takes a lot of money and a lot of grants. Well, what kind of stuff do y'all do? What are y'all working on that can restore? Because you mentioned Mississippi River we diverted it. Some natural resources that would naturally go there to keep it really strong is gone now. So what kind of stuff can you do to naturally help it grow back where we don't lose coast?
Well, we help with developing new wetlands, building up some of the barrier islands so that you don't have the ocean flooding coming in, destroying some of the wetlands. At the same time, I'm shoring up some of the levees to make sure you don't have the flooding in the residential areas and businesses around the coastal community. But it's restoring the actual wetlands themselves, making sure the right vegetations are planted, that they're getting the appropriate amount of water and nutrients for the wetlands restoration efforts, while at the same time protecting against flooding for the communities.
Yeah, the flooding part is the tough part, especially in the low-lying areas. I didn't know if it was doable, because I guess it's going to be something the federal government's going to have to be the main partner, but I'm sure the state and local governments have to be part of it as well.
They do, and we're working closely with the state and local governments here, as well as some of the nonprofits, and as well as industry and business. Everybody has a stake in this. and we want to make sure we get this right. And it has to be, you're right, it has to be a partnership. We're putting a lot of federal money into this, a lot of state money, and then local organizations. I met with National Wildlife Federation representatives, for example, this morning to talk about some of the things that they're doing here in the area.
Yeah, and I guess it's a gradual process, but I know a hurricane doesn't help you any because that really comes in and hurts you. But if you could take a dollar figure on it, Mr. Wheeler, what would it take if you could write a check today to fix it? And could it be done like that, or that's like it's really a long period of time to really get this right?
We're talking several billions of dollars over the next 10 or 20 years. It's going to be very expensive, but we're trying to maximize the money that we're investing, and in making sure that the projects that we're funding now are the most vital projects to protect the wetlands and the coastal areas. But
if you had a check today for that amount of money, you could get that quicker, but it still would be a process, wouldn't it?
It would. It's not going to happen overnight. A lot of these, you can't just pour money into a wetlands restoration project. You have to work on it over a number of years.
Yeah, I figured that it would take a little bit of time. So now is Louisiana getting some grants or getting money from the federal government right now that you come and oversee, or is it more money to come? How's that working right now for Louisiana?
It's both. For example, in May we awarded our Gulf of Mexico program awarded $285,000 in grants to the coalition to restore coastal Louisiana, to restore the swamp forest habitat near the city of New Orleans. And since 1990, we've completed 12 projects benefiting over 13,000 acres of restored or protected wetlands, marshes, and barrier islands. Just this year, we completed construction on 2 projects, and bidding is going to soon take place for a project to reestablish and nourish a barrier island back marsh. So it's a number of small projects as funding becomes available. But what we're doing is working with the state so that we have a comprehensive plan so that all of these projects are part of the comprehensive plan.
We're speaking to
we aren't just doing a one-off project here and there.
Okay, we're speaking to Mr. Andrew Wheeler, Acting Administrator for U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. When something like this happens, because, you're talking about a lot of money, is this money who oversees this? Who's responsible for it? Is it local, state, the federal government? Who actually oversees? Is it you that actually oversees every penny that goes into this? How does that work?
Not every penny. We have the Restore Council, which is made up of the states here in the Gulf of Mexico state area, as well as 5 federal agencies. Right now, as the administrator of the EPA, I chair the council. So we are overseeing the federal money being spent, but then there's also here within Louisiana a lot of state money also being spent. But what we're trying to do is follow the state's master plan for restoring the habitats and the wetlands around the Louisiana coastline. So we're following the state's plan, but we're implementing it with 5 federal agencies as well as all the states.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is their plan? Who put the plan together? Is this the states allowed to do what they think's best, or do y'all oversee exactly what's going on?
We work in partnership with the state on the plan. We help develop it, and we're helping to implement it. Okay.
Is it anything citizens can do to participate, to help? Is there anything that people, the general taxpayers, need to do to help? Because I hear from my buddies down in Houma and some of the areas south of New Orleans with the problems they've had down there. But anything citizens can do?
Well, the best thing is to work through the state and the local authorities here, and I know that they have projects and ideas for the citizens to do. There's a website, and I don't have the name of the website, but it's through the Restore Council in the state of Louisiana. And they've had a number of public meetings and outreach to the local community. I think it's education and understanding the need to do this. I think is very important, but I would recommend that anybody interested and concerned about this to reach out to the State Department of Natural Resources.
All righty, Mr. Andrew Wheeler, U.S. Acting Administrator, U.S. Environmental Protection. Mr. Wheeler, thank you so much. God bless. Wish you the best of luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
All righty, we'll do it again. All right, thank you very much. All right, folks, we'll take a break. You notice, Brandon didn't mention anything about man-made global warming are all companies.
Nope.
I like that. I like that. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. More to come. The Moon Griffon Show. Don't go nowhere, folks. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Well. 3 weeks from today, we get to go vote. And the Democrats, folks, if they win, God bless us is all I can tell you. Because the part of that party, and it was led by Barack Obama, that's what a community organizer does. They've organized left of left now. It's unbelievable. Matter of fact, President already tops $100 million in fundraising for own re-election, Brandon. $100 million already. By the way, there's a caravan of people coming, okay, toward the border. March of migrants coming to our border. And right in time for the election. Donald Trump on Tuesday threatened to withdraw funding and aid for Honduras if it does not stop the caravan headed to the United States. The United States strongly informed the president of Honduras that the large caravan of people heading to the U.S. is not stopping. Brought back to Honduras, no more money or aid would be given to Honduras. Over 3,000 migrants crossed from Honduras into Guatemala on Monday, headed this way. Folks, they want something bad to happen at the border for election time. Brandon, you know that's what it is. That's all this is. Once again, sounds like a lot of community organizing coming on. And that's what this is all to some kind of way affect the elections. Mark my word, watch this. Watch this. Come to the border and then shoot out or something happens, and it will be for election results. You know, we hadn't heard the last of everything going on with elections, as you know. So the march is coming on. And I believe it's marched to be time for hell in elections. Brian, if you find that piece, we can talk about it at the break.
Yeah, we'll need to because we have the whole.
Is that the whole thing again?
It's the same one. Yeah, it's the same.
Okay,
one.
we have to play it, but you got to listen to Missouri Senator McCaskill hiding the agenda saying people just can't know. They have people comment, including themselves, about gun control, impeachment, and one person saying they were asked the question. This is a Project Veritas. In other words, you need a lot of people. Say, yeah, we need a lot of people. Talking about how we love Obama and how McCaskill is exactly like Obama, believes in the exact same things that Barack Obama, who would have been great for a Marxist country, but not here. She believes in everything that Obama did in a tight race in Missouri. Anyway, I'm hoping to play that. I had it earlier, Brandon, where it was just what I needed. But once again, and it may happen early part of it, but it's a lot of stuff in there. People just can't know. You know, she wants to ban semi-automatic rifle ban, and she wants to keep that from the moderate voters. Staffers reveal could hurt her ability to get elected if they would have known that she wants to ban semi-automatic rifles. Brandon, I tell you what, Brandon, that's it. They're going to have all the stuff in the first minute or two. And do we have time?
Yeah, we got time right now.
I'm looking at it, what's coming off of it. You got to listen real close, but let's say go.
All right, here we go.
So you would be on board with the bump stocks? Of course. Bump stocks. Oh, I've voted high-capacity mags. I've voted for most of those things before. So for a ban? Oh, yeah. Great. Oh, yeah. I can tell them, because she does, support a semi-automatic firearm ban. Because I want to say something I shouldn't say.
I think semi-automatic.
It's your field organizer.
Okay. More so what she would support.
So here's the real question. Yeah. Claire holds off on impeachment to get the moderates.
Say that lie.
What do we tell the moderates after we drop the impeachment hammer afterwards? Get over it.
You heard that?
It was a national security question. That information is confidential, and she did her duty by not revealing the information until afterwards.
And also get over it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get over it. That president sucks. Let's move on.
because of how because he's a very liberal candidate, and kind of Claire distancing herself from the party is going to help her win more votes than it will. Saying oh, here's Obama, the former president of the United States, to now speak on my behalf. Which is unfortunate because I love Obama to pieces, and I love to see him come here.
And they essentially have the same views on everything.
Whoa. Yeah. People just can't know that.
Well, if we elect enough Democrats, we'll get some gun safety stuff done.
We have a disturbing new undercover video, very revealing. Veritas.
There was somebody who came in sort of posing as a senior volunteer and basically got these young people talking in that fashion.
Hey, this is James O'Keefe for Outside the Bredesen campaign.
Would you like to see yourself on video?
In Missouri, incumbent Democrat Senator Claire McCaskill is vying to keep her seat in the typically Republican-leaning state.
I've got a large body of work that is bipartisan, that does accomplish things that matter for Missouri families. I'm one of the few senators left that's not afraid to call myself a moderate.
Yeah, I think it's like a tactic that's going to not make them too far left to try to get the moderate voters.
But we're still going to support abortion, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Bump stocks, high capacity mags.
I've voted for most of those things before.
For a ban?
No, yeah.
Great.
It's like we have to lie to get elected.
Essentially.
Okay. We have to lie to get elected, essentially. And how you like that? This young guy wants to bring Obama in, but you can't bring Obama in Missouri because she gets beat. But yet they agree that their agenda is 100% Barack Obama.
These are all a bunch of millennials, and I'm in that generation. I'm ashamed to see that.
But you
a
hear
bunch
her
of millennials that are all in there trying to help her deceive people.
But can you believe it? We have to lie, essentially have to lie to win. They all lying on the left. There's no truth. I told you. I always called, if Satan's the father of lies, Barack Obama was the brother. And these Democrats fall right in line. This is an Obama person. Have to lie to the American people to win.
When are people, especially so-called moderates, going to quit allowing themselves to be fooled by people like this?
By the way, she's not a moderate.
Yeah, she
That's
ain't
to
a moderate.
Get elected. We got to take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Hickson has it hotline, of course, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Before somebody calls and say, Moon, you're dealing with politicians. They all lie. Not one to argue. But McCaskill in Missouri is in a tight race. And Brandon is over $7.1 million job openings right now. Did you know that? People can go find jobs in the country right now. 7.1 million jobs opening. Shoot, they didn't have that in 8 years under Barack Obama. But anyway, beside the point. McCaskill and them are lying. They caught on tape lying. They can't bring Obama in. Boy, I wish we could bring Obama in. Well, why can't you bring him in? See, this is what I don't understand. All the Democrats ought to bring in Obama. All the Republicans ought to bring in Trump. Why don't the Democrats, why don't Obama go to some of these states? He was so well loved. McCaskill don't want Obama even close by him. But he stands for the same Barack Obama values. And Barack Obama values were so un-American for the most part, it wasn't even funny. You know, they've taken all of they were talking about jobs, the 7.1 million. Brandon, Charles Payne's the guy he's talking about it. Now, he did a great piece. I saw him this morning about all the manufacturing jobs, over 500,000 jobs manufacturing that came back. Okay, we got more he got more manufacturing new jobs in the first less than 2 years than Barack Obama did the whole time. Because he took regulations away. He made it friendly for businesses. That's why people can go to work. They can afford their homes and afford a vehicle, afford to go to school. And so it's a phenomenal thing to watch. You got McCaskill and them running on lies, just running on an outright lie. They saying they got to lie to win. Can you imagine saying you have to lie to win? They know they have to lie to win. I mean, that's what blows my mind away. They know they have to lie. They have to tell lies. They have to come across as, no, I'm not way out there. And that's what I'm telling people, folks. We give up our country when we vote for people that they won't even tell us the truth. You know? People just can't know McCaskill and Obama essentially have the same views for everything. What happens when you tell people, no, I'm not for impeachment, and you vote for impeachment? Oh, just get over it. You just have to get over it. Secretly supporting gun control groups. Secretly supporting them. Supports a semi-automatic rifle ban. McCaskill on the tape, of course, she would vote for gun bans. Yet, she got half the people like her. I know we're a split country. I understand that. But when you got them on tape saying this stuff, I mean, this is billboard stuff. This is stuff you can use to beat them. And I just, myself, am glad there's a few people out there willing to run this stuff. I don't know, folks. I saw a poll the other night in the battleground states. Republicans are up 1. In the battleground states, those are going to be important states. Well, they were down 11 points the other day. But I'm going to tell you, if you watch TV, and you keep watching TV, and it keeps going back and forth, you will drive yourself crazy. You got to understand that. And I believe the only poll we need to know is election night. I don't want to lose like a lot of people don't want to lose. I don't want our country, all we're going to ever do is get into lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Pocahontas already said that she's going to know about Trump's taxes because we win the election. We're going to find out about all the money you made. I mean, it's just it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop with these people till they destroy everything. That's who they are. Hate will destroy everything. And it's the party of hate. I keep watching this. I'm just like y'all. I'm starting to watch it now. I tell you, I don't watch a lot of Fox. I'm starting to watch a lot of it. I always do around election time. I always do around election time. I want to see what's going on, but I'm also very careful of listening to everything I hear, good or bad. And I've tried to watch both. It's hard for me to watch CNN and MSNBC and all those stations. I can't only watch the ABC, NBC News and all that stuff. It's just, I know the slant every time they talk about Donald Trump or they talk about Republicans. I know the slant. I don't have to listen to it when you already know what they're going to say. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Let's go to Chris, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Chris, how you doing?
Doing good, Moon. Appreciate your show.
Yes, sir.
There's a really good documentary I watched a while back on Vietnam. It's a 6 or 7 part series, and they had a lot of recordings of Lyndon Johnson, and every now and then he would call and he would talk to Eisenhower. And on one of these, he actually says, this back in the 60s, he says the communists are coming in and they're taking over my party. Johnson actually says this.
Wow.
So now we've seen that happen, and the left always has to lie about their agenda, because if you ever figure out what their agenda is, you won't vote for them.
Yeah, that's true.
And what's really scary is what they really want to do, brother, is take our vote away from us. That's this whole thing about Russia and all that. What that collusion is about is basically delegitimizing voting, so that really we're just too dumb to vote, and they need to take over, just like Stalin and Lenin and all them, and then they tell you how to live, because you're not smart enough to run your own life. That's what the left always does.
But they've been doing that because they tell you you don't know how to take care of your money, you don't know how to. They tell you about everything. You don't know how many times to flush your toilet. I mean, it's always like that with the left. They want listen, except for abortion, killing babies, drugs and alcohol, do whatever you want to, and vote Democrat. They don't care what else you do. But I mean, they're going to control everything else but those 3 or 4 things I just mentioned. They are. They want to control it all, and they got people who are letting them control their lives. That's what's so scary. Why would you want anybody to control your life, the money you make, all you can be. Why would anybody want to control that? I don't understand. I mean, why would you want somebody to tell you how to vote? Why do you want somebody to tell you where to go get your medical care from? Why do you want somebody to tell you where to go get your food from? Why do you want anything like? I don't want anybody to ever be in charge of me or like that. But you got a lot of people in this country that want them to tell them what to do.
I think it's kind of the same mindset of people that, you know, if you spend a certain amount of time in prison, you become what they call institutionalized.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
yes.
A lot of people do that.
It's almost like they're afraid of any kind of responsibility because they've never had to take responsibility for anything. And a lot of these 20-year-olds and younger are so brainwashed, they want somebody to tell them everything to do because they're scared to in their own life, basically, you know.
Yeah, well, but
the spiritual element of it, everything that the left is for death. They're always for death. They're for abortion. They're against the death penalty, but they defend the murderer.
Yeah.
They're always coming down on the side of death because they're in that dark spirit. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's definitely become a party of hate. It's not the old Democrat Party of 30 years ago. It's not. We just used to disagree on ideas. We used to disagree on ideas and the way we govern. Sometimes cooler heads would, stand still and calm the sea. It's not like that anymore. I mean, in the left, hey, look, somebody said, man, if the left loses, they're going to go crazy. They're going to do stuff. Well, let them do it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it anyway. Let them do it.
And these are the people that have been telling us for 50 years that we need to be tolerant. They've been telling us that for 50 years that we need to be tolerant. Now we're seeing how tolerant they are. They don't tolerate anything.
Well, they will get, if they ever win and get it their way, I just told you they're going to tolerate abortion, killing of babies, 61 million. They're going to tolerate drugs and alcohol. They don't care about that. And they're going and then they're going to control everything else. They're going to control how you vote. They're going to control what you wear. They're going to control what you drive, how many times to flush your toilet. I mean, they're trying to control what you're going to eat. They're going to control it all if they ever get in charge. And we used to laugh at people like that. But these are the people running the Democrat Party right now. So we'll see what people think. Anyway, I got to run. By the way, Stormy Daniels' suit tossed out. Avenatti's losing on everything he does, huh?
He really is.
He must be the worst lawyer in the world. I know he loves to be on CNN, but you talk about a nut between the ears.
There's no longevity to what they're putting out there. It's just hit you, but it doesn't last because it has no basis.
No, if you got to have the facts. Anyway, we got to go take a break. Your calls, as usual, are welcome on the Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. By the way, Pocahontas, Cherokee Nation.
Or Pocahontas. Or Pocahontas, as she's been called.
How about Foolahontas? Cherokee Nation on Monday dismissed an inappropriate and wrong Democratic Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren claimed a DNA test proved her Native American heritage. What a joke. They got Democrats mad at her for bringing this up because people are talking about it. What a joke. What a 100% joke. And by the way, Brandon, I think she's up for re-election. She's like in the 70s.
I saw a meme. The other day or yesterday, and it had Dianne Feinstein saying, "I think I just messed up the 2018 midterms for Democrats," and then Pocahontas comes up there and says, "Hold my beer."
Oh God! Oh my! How Hillary Clinton could win in 2020? I hope to pray that Hillary Clinton will stay out there. It reminds us of all the bad things from the left. As long as she's out there. Brian in Alexandria. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, Moon. It's Pastor Brian.
Hey, Brian. How you doing, bud?
Hi. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Hey, listen, I heard you talking about the 61 million babies that have lost their lives due to liberal policies, due to abortion on demand in this country in the past 45 years. And I wanted you and your listeners to be aware of attempts to open new abortion clinics in the state of Louisiana. There are currently only 3 abortion clinics in the state.
I thought they could. Let me ask you a question.
Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
I thought they couldn't open any more here.
Well, they can. There's nothing in law stopping them. And in fact, there are 2 licenses pending for an abortion clinic. And both of these abortion clinics are being located in the heart of the black community in New Orleans. One is the Planned Parenthood on Claiborne Avenue, and the other is Dr. Rashonda Dean's Healthcare for Women Clinic on Crowder Avenue, just outside of the 9th Ward.
Wow.
And we're really concerned because abortion disproportionately affects the black community.
No doubt about it.
In 2017, black babies were aborted at 4.6 times the rate of other children in the state of Louisiana. That means a black child is about 5 times more likely to be killed in the womb in our state. And so we're opposing the opening of new abortion clinics. And then we found out that Dr. Dean, as she's trying to open her own abortion clinic after doing abortions for many years in Louisiana, she's trying to open her own clinics now as an owner-operator, and she's opened offices in Alexandria and Opelousas where she's seeing patients, where she counsels patients in other communities for abortion, and then they travel to South Louisiana to have the procedure. We're just very concerned because we're fighting abortion in our state, and yet the other side is fighting back and doing all that they can to expand abortion and cause the loss of life of more and more children. And so we just have to fight that every day.
Yeah, I saw the numbers of the 61 million slaughtered children, the Holocaust as abortion. Percentage of blacks was like 18, almost 20 million. It was like almost a third were black, and the population of blacks and African Americans is only 12, 13% in the country. And so you could say that, you know, we keep hearing these racism throws, but you could say the Democratic Party has racism because it looks like they're killing a lot more black babies, and that's sick. And I don't know who this doctor is, but it's just sick.
In some cities in America, we have black babies, or we have more abortions than black babies born alive in many cities, like New York City, Chicago, and in some years even the city of New Orleans, where you have more black children being killed in the womb every year than born alive. And it's truly a Holocaust, and we have to stand up and stop it. That's why we fight every day. And, we're praying for abortionists like Dr. Rashonda Dean, that, number one, that she would get out of the Alexandria and Opelousas community and stop recruiting women in our smaller communities around the state to have abortion. And we're praying that this license is not granted. We pray that Planned Parenthood doesn't expand their empire into Louisiana. We have to do all we can to stop this, and we have to fight it with spiritual weapons. We have to fight it with prayer, and we have to speak up, because these unborn children, they don't have a voice. They can't be heard.
None
we have to speak for them.
Yeah, that's pretty sick that we have a political party that's their number one praise is killing babies. I just played Claire McCaskill in Missouri. She's 100% pro-abortion, and I just can't imagine. So if you destroy a baby, you don't have a problem destroying a Supreme Court justice. That's not a problem. That's easy.
That's right. We're thankful Kavanaugh was confirmed. Moon, I want to tell you listeners one thing before I go. In Alexandria on Friday of this week, we are going to be outside of Dr. Rashonda Dean's facility. We're going to be at 3807 Prescott. We're going to be on some private property that's right across the street that's owned by a pro-life physician. And we're going to bring together churches from across the central Louisiana area, and we're going to pray for Dr. Rashonda Dean's heart to change. We're going to pray that the abortion rate would stop increasing in the central Louisiana community. You may not know this, but central Louisiana is the only community in Louisiana where the abortion rate has been increasing year over year, and we're praying that that stops. We opened a pregnancy center in Alexandria in December, Sinlaw Pregnancy Center, and now we're going to pray this abortion recruiting center that Dr. Rashonda Dean operates here in Alexandria. We're going to pray it out of our city. Yeah, so Friday at 12:30 in Alexandria, Prescott.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and better than that, we'll pray for you. It's scary to think what these people are doing. I cannot believe that's happening in communities all over this country. All right, brother, good luck to you.
Absolutely.
I mean that sincerely. I know you spiritually speaking is what I mean when I say good luck. All right, brother. Thank you here. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Let's go to the phone lines. Stephen in Shreveport. Stephen, how you doing?
How you doing, Moon? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Let's see, I just wanted to comment this morning. I was listening a little bit. I have a feeling that you guys are going to lose this election. It's just a gut I got.
If that happens, that's the way it goes. Hey, if it goes that way, it goes that way.
And I can tell you one of the reasons why. Because I've been looking at this a while. I listen to conservative radio a lot when I get a chance. And what I got in front of me right now, I'm looking at the job creation numbers for the last 13 years. And I'm looking at the numbers. And I'm looking at Obama's numbers. In the last 4 years, his average monthly job creation was 216,000. Have you looked at it?
Yeah, and let me tell you something. There were jobs that weren't paying nothing. There were minimum wage jobs. They weren't manufacturing jobs. There were government jobs. Go look at them. Go look at the real numbers. See, Stephen, you do this all the time. You take one little bitty thing and throw it out. What Obama did was hurt us. There's 500,000 more manufacturing jobs here than when Obama was there. And Obama said those would never come back. Never come back. You can look at all them numbers and play with that all you want to. The fact of the matter is we were a falling country. We never saw 3% growth for 1 year, ever. Everything was below 3%. And we're seeing that a lot better. So go ahead and look. You want to stay stuck in the Obama years and look at numbers like some people do? Go ahead and look at them. I don't care. Anyway, we've got to take a break. And if you're right about who wins, then I'll take my hat off to the left Looney Tunes, and we'll see what happens. But all right, we got to take a break. Yeah, y'all look at numbers all you want to. That's what the left tries to do. Obama tried to take credit for the economy. We've got more manufacturing jobs created by Donald Trump in less than 2 years than the whole 8 years Obama was there. All right, we got to take a break. Be back. More to come. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. Let's jump gears again. We have with us, it's an honor to have Miss Renee Ellmers, who's the Regional Director, Region 4, Office Secretary, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Miss Ellmers, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for allowing me to speak to your listeners about some of the exciting things we have going on at HHS.
Well, we want to, I read some of the briefs and stuff. We're talking about drug pricing and drug pricing blueprints. So what's going on with that? What does Americans have forward to look? What can we look forward to?
Well, what I will tell you is one of the number one issues regarding health care in America is the cost of drugs. Every family in this country that takes any kind of medication, whether it's for heart disease or hypertension or diabetes, any of these drugs, they're just so expensive. And so that has been a priority of Secretary Azar and President Trump. And two very, very exciting things have happened very recently. Last week, President Trump signed into law a bipartisan bill which was passed in the House and the Senate that addresses the cost of drugs and really being able to empower patients to get the correct information that they need. For instance, if you have a health care insurance plan, you can go to your pharmacist today, ask the pharmacist what the least expensive cost is for your drug, and if that means paying out of pocket, and that's actually going to be less than what your health insurance is going to charge you or less than the copay that you'd have to pay, you can get it out of pocket. And starting in 2020, January 1st, 2020, if you are on Medicare, you have Medicare Part D, you can ask the same thing of your pharmacist, and your pharmacist can direct you to the least expensive drug that will be good for you and appropriate. The other thing that's very exciting is just yesterday, Secretary Azar gave a very important speech, and in the speech he talked about how our different pharmaceutical companies that advertise on TV, have great information for consumers, but they don't address the cost. They don't address the price. And so what HHS is doing right now is moving forward on action to require pharmaceutical companies to list that price in that ad just as much. And so we're waiting to find out if that ends up going through. There's a public comment period, and I just encourage folks to go online to cms.gov and learn about this and add their opinion, because up until December 17th, they can talk about whether or not they like this idea or whether they don't.
Yeah, when will this stuff? When can this be made policy? When can this be made policy? Does it have to go through the law process through Congress?
Yes. What has to, now this doesn't. Basically, what this is a Medicare rule change. Okay. So right now, from now until December 17th, there's a public comment period. Okay. So what we have, so this is what's called the proposed rule, and after that comment period is finished, and I will tell you that Administrator Seema Verma literally has her staff look at every single comment that comes in on these issues, and after that period of time, after they go through all the comments, then they will be making their final rule. So this isn't necessarily anything that has to go through Congress and be voted on. This is something that the administration can actually do.
Yes, Miss Renee Ellmers, my special guest. She is Regional Director, Region 4, Office Secretary of U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, with some great ideas. But now, does this affect, and when you mention drug pricing, I got a special need daughter, Miss Ellmers, and man, the drug part of it, and even though we got a hold of it, it's still a lot of money. And that's why I was kind of wondering, when you were talking about this, will it affect anything else for people that have paid stuff? And I got insurance, don't get me wrong, but it still is very expensive. I was wondering if there was kind of anything in there for somebody maybe not on Medicare at all with the drug pricing and things
absolutely.
of that nature.
So you mentioned that you do have a health insurance plan. So literally today, you could go to your pharmacy and talk to your pharmacist, and your pharmacist would be able to tell you if the insurance that you have, that it's less expensive and more affordable for you to go through your insurance, or whether it would be better for you to just pay out of pocket. And in many cases, depending on what is available, you might be able to get a less expensive drug by not having to pay that copay, or not, especially for individuals who have the high deductibles. If 47% of Americans have a high deductible, so they have to pay all of those things out of pocket up front until they meet their deductible, and then their insurance kicks in. This is something that they will be able to address without having to go through all of those hoops. And as for you and your situation, and so many other families, they can just ask the pharmacy. Up to this point, what has happened over time, and why this is so significant, and why you haven't been able to do that, is there were actually gag clauses in place with insurance companies. Insurance companies literally, when they had negotiated these insurance plans, they were able to say that, hey, you have to use your insurance, and the pharmacist can't tell you about these things. So this is literally, President Trump signed into law the banning of this gag clause. So now pharmacists can share this information, but it is up to the consumer to ask.
Wow, that's pretty big news. I mean, it
is very big news.
So if this takes place, when will this take place again, Ms. Ellmers?
Right. So if you have health care insurance, a private insurance, this is effective immediately. So as of last week, when President Trump signed it into law, it became in effect. If you have Medicare and you have a Medicare Part D health care drug coverage plan, it will take effect January 1st, 2020.
Wow.
Or, 2019. 2019.
Wow. So there's a lot of big changes that people need to know about. If people want to find out more about this, somebody listening to the program going down the road, where can they go to find out the information that you're sharing today?
Well, thank you for asking. Yes, they can go to hhs.gov/drug prices, or they can go to cms.gov and learn about drug prices there.
Well, that's important. People they listen, they're going down the road, they're going, where can I find out more about this?
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Now will pharmacists and will they know about all this with the new rules and the new things kicking in? Will they know about this? And will people, if they when they walk up to their pharmacist, say, look, I just heard this, and boom, will they explain it to them with no problem?
I believe so, because what I will tell you is we have had great support from our community pharmacists and different pharmacy associations on this. In fact, this was something that came out of meetings with pharmacists. One of the beautiful things about the way that Secretary Azar and President Trump have been handling these issues is really connecting with folks out there, in all of our communities, and they've heard this firsthand from the pharmacists and knew that it was something that could be addressed, straight away.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When Obamacare came around, to me, it got really confusing for people. I know for people that could go get subsidies, they were happy, and in Medicaid, hooking more people on government insurance was a problem. But for us guys that were, and gentlemen and ladies and gents that were out there paying it every day, it got real confusing. It got real expensive really quick. I'll tell you a quick story. Not this past January, but January before. I'm not on Obamacare, but I got a private policy. They wanted my premiums to go up to $4,100 a month. Well, I ended up working that around, but then when my first pay of drugs, and I'm not making this up and I'm not exaggerating by a dollar, we had to fork out $2,800. My daughter has, she has seizures. $2,800 in January. I remember writing a check. I remember how upset my wife was. And she was really, really upset about it. And we wrote the check. We were able to move around it, and we got it down to $1,100 a month. But still, it's been expensive. And through some of these processes, it's helping us. Because as long as we get away from Obamacare, it seems like it helps us more.
Well, I'll tell you, and that's what Secretary Azar and President Trump are trying to offer, are more choices for individuals, more choices for families. And there again, I will tell you, one of the major significant things that have happened since the new administration came in is the FDA has moved a lot of medications through the marketplace process through the FDA, so that there are more generic drugs on the market today than, there's over 1,000 that have been made generic, and so those are more affordable as well. So we realize, based on talking with so many families across this country, that this is a major issue when it comes to health care, and we know that we've got to bring down the cost, and it's very, very significant. And I do want to clarify with you, on the Medicare Part D, it does go into effect January 1st, 2020. Okay. So I look back at my notes here, and it is 2020. But there again, very significant, because those who have Medicare, they are on a lot of medications, and they need to know what is the least expensive and appropriate for them.
All righty, Ms. Renee Ellmers, we appreciate it. Listen, one more time, give out the information where people can find out more about what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Go to hhs.gov/drug prices, or you can go to cms.gov, and they have drug pricing right there. A lot of articles, a lot of information to gather.
Ms. Ellmers, thank you so much. God bless, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. You too.
All righty. All right, quick break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show right after this. Your calls are welcome. We'll be right back.